Hello, welcome to Comics for All. Today is Thursday, October 30th. Thank you for joining us wherever you are in the world today. My name is Jameson Rohrer. I am a comics librarian. I am the CEO for Comics for All. And Comics for All is where comics, creativity, and community all connect. We are so far just a YouTube channel, but we're hoping to become a website and a newsletter and so much more in the coming months and years. But again, I'm a comics librarian, so today on my Thursday, I'm going to split this in two parts because I didn't get all the images saved at the first point. But the first part today I'm going to do is just my recent library reads. So these are titles that I checked out from the libraries that I have access to, which is really cool. I have quite a selection of libraries, luckily here in Northern California. So again, the first title that I'm going to highlight is Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman, Volume 2, The Paper. Published by Marvel Comics, obviously. The main illustrator is Marco Ciccito. He's doing the main illustrations and the cover art. So this is in a trade paperback format, Volume 2. I believe this covers issues 6 through 10, excuse me. It came out on March 18th, 2025, this particular volume. I am not the biggest Spider-Man reader necessarily myself, but I am really enjoying this particular run of Spider-Man. As Spider-Man, if him and Mary Jane actually married and had 2 kids. So it's really Peter Parker as an adult, and I think a lot of people are really engaging with that storyline, and really the artwork fits perfectly. It feels very cinematic, and I feel like this is one of the best Spider-Man runs in quite a long time. And I'm really thankful that it's going on because Jonathan Hickman is a wonderful writer. The Ultimate Universe, at least for this particular time at Marvel, is coming to an end. So I think there's maybe one more volume or even 2 more volumes that are still coming out in trade paperback before the Ultimate line ends for Marvel and something resets. But again, this is a really, really fun, engaging story that's very accessible for, I say, teens and above. Maybe even tweens can read it. There's nothing nefarious or cursing or anything. But it's just a really good take on Peter Parker, the Spider-Man, and how, as an adult and with children, it really looks different, but also somewhat familiar. And I really, really like the take on it. And again, this came out on March 18th, 2025. Next, we have Incredible Hulk Volume 5. So these first 2 ones are actually a continuing series that Marvel has going on right now. Incredible Hulk Volume 5, God's Drink Blood. This is a trade paperback volume, obviously. It came out on August 12th, 2025, by Philip Kennedy Johnson. And the main illustrators are Danny Earls and Nick Klein. And I actually really, really enjoy the Hulk as a character. I really like he's based on Dr. Jekyll and Hyde. And I love his evolution of the character over the years and really appreciate the different story arcs that have kind of branched off from the main emphasis of his character. And the artwork really shines. I really like how it's tying into the mysticism and the magic and the darker horror stories of the Marvel Universe. And I really appreciate that. Hulk versus monsters and, the elder gods, and not to spoil anything, but he befriends a human, and it becomes a very complicated relationship, and I think it's really fun. And again, this came out on August 12th, 2025 by Philip Kennedy Johnson. If you haven't read this series at all, I highly recommend it. It definitely picks up right off after the Donny Cates run. And you necessarily don't even have to read the Donny Cates run, but there's a few references to it. But you can read this immediately after following the Immortal Hulk run by Al Ewing. All right, let's go to our next title. So the third title I've read recently is Enigma Town by my friend Alex DeLuca. Alex, I know you may not be watching, but shout out to you. I know you're out there. Hopefully I'll get to share this video with you. But this book, Enigma Town by Alex DeLuca, came out on August 26, 2025 in trade paperback format. That's the format I generally like to read, especially when I'm checking out from the library. They do collect some hardcover and more omnibus editions, but by and large, they stick to the trade paperbacks because they're very accessible price point wise, and they tend to stand up to checkout use and things like that. Again, this Enigma Town by Alex DeLuca came out on August 26th. This is a fantastic, fun, spooky read for this time of year. There's magic elements involved. It's a really engaging story because it's a multi-generational story. There's multi-generations of people engaging with one another of trying to figure out this enigma and what the heck is going on with this particular house in the town and what's the history behind it. And I thought it was very well done. I really enjoyed it, and I wanted to shout it out for Alex. Just wanted to let everyone know that this is a title that If your library does not have a copy of this one in particular, see if you can purchase a copy. Red 5 Comix does have distribution, so they should be able to get a copy of this one. And then my last library read that I got to read, and like I said, part 2, I will do a part 2 later today. But my first one, my last one for this segment is the Autumn Kingdom Volume 1, Through the Blight, that came out on September 2nd, 2025 by Cullen Bunn and Christopher Minton as the main illustrator. This was a trade paperback that came out by Oni Press on September 2nd, 2025. This was really fun, a fast-paced fantasy horror, action-packed. I mean, like literally every single page, there's really fun horror and action scenes. I think that's maybe the only downfall. I mean, not a downfall, sorry, but like critique of this particular one is that the pacing is very quick. Sometimes I feel it almost felt like too edited and it didn't give enough context. However, still a really fun read overall. So again, let me go through my 4 reads that I've read recently from the libraries that I've checked out, and we'll sum that up, and then I will be back with part 2 this afternoon. All right. So first one, Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman, Volume 2, The Paper by Marvel Comics, a trade paperback format, came out on March 18th, 2025. My second read this last week, Incredible Hulk, Volume 5, Gods Drink Blood by Marvel Comics in trade paperback format, came out on August 12th, 2025 by Philip Kennedy Johnson. My third read recently is Enigma Town by Alex DeLuca, came out by Red 5 Comics on August 26, 2025. Really fun read. Wanted to shout Alex out one more time. And then my fourth and final library read of the week, The Autumn Kingdom by Cullen Bunn and Christopher Minton. Really fun story, action-packed. I said pacing is just a slight, maybe not off, but just the pacing is kind of hard to gauge at some points, but still a really fun read regardless. So that brings me to the end of my first segment today. Just wanted to share my recent library reads with you, the viewers, as a comics librarian. I don't have access to every single title out there because these are the titles that I have access to through the library. I do have a local comic store, but it is quite a drive away. Hi, Ben. Nice to see you. But again, this is Jameson Rohrer for Comics for All, where comics, creativity, and community all connect. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you later this afternoon. Thank you.